Hey, what up, everybody? So coming to you this morning with the what's next on undefeated, unified junior welterweight champion Josh Taylor. He is my #1 junior welterweight in the world right now. That's 140 pounds. Taylor hasn't fought since the World Boxing Super Series finals last October when he defeated Regis Prograis, unified belts, and won the World Boxing Super Series tournament at 140 pounds. That was his career best win easily. It was really, you know, a matchup of the two best fighters at 140 coming together. They were the top 2 seeds in the tournament. And, you know, it was just a big time matchup. I believe Prograis was the #1 seed coming in, and Taylor was #2. Taylor got the fight to happen in the United Kingdom, though, which was a big, you know, kind of a home field advantage for him. And Prograis went for it. He said, fuck it, you know, whatever. That's the kind of fighter Prograis is. It was a tough, hard-fought majority decision win for Taylor as he, you know, unified belts for his first time and is now looking at a mandatory title defense next against some, I can't even pronounce the guy's name. He's literally done nothing to deserve a shot. His name's Kong Song something. Really is a messed up name, and the guy really doesn't deserve a title shot. He's done nothing to get a title shot with Taylor, but he's the mandatory #1 contender. He's undefeated. Taylor's gonna have to face him next whenever the, you know, the ban is lifted on sports, and these two guys will go at it. You know, I think Taylor's gonna dominate this guy, and the big question is, what's next for Josh Taylor after his mandatory title defense? So let's run him through the top 10, see what could be possible, and go from there. So we start with, you know, obviously Taylor's #1 at 140. We start with #2, undefeated unified champion Jose Ramirez. Now, this is the dream fight everybody wants to see. I think it's possible that these two fight, but they both want to fight for the undisputed title. And I'm telling you right now, it's very, very unlikely that it's going to be for the undisputed title if they fight after their next fights. Because Ramirez has to beat Victor Postol, and Taylor would have to beat his mandatory challenger. But here's the deal. Ramirez has another mandatory defense due of his other title, the WBO belt. Jack Catterall, undefeated fighter, fights for Matchroom with Eddie Hearn. He's not in the top 10, but Catterall stepped aside already, so Ramirez could face Postol in his next fight. Excuse me. So that's what Ramirez is doing first, and I'm telling you, he's gonna have to face Catterall. Catterall's already said he's not taking step aside money again, so Taylor is likely going to have to, either Ramirez will have to give up that belt, and then him and Taylor can fight for 3 of the 4 belts in unified titles, or Taylor's going to have to take another fight in between and wait for Ramirez after he's done with Catterall, which I think, you know, I would think, just based, again, I haven't seen Catterall fight, so he could surprise us, but Ramirez, based on what he's done so far, he'd probably be the favorite going into that one. So right now, it doesn't look like Ramirez is gonna. Doesn't look like these two guys could fight after if it's gonna be for the undisputed title. But maybe Catterall can be talked into, you know, doing that. Maybe he could be talked into fighting for the interim title, and maybe it would be possible. So we'll see. #3 is a rematch with former champion Regis Prograis. Definitely possible. You know, Prograis fought in, you know, Prograis set to face Maurice Hooker at a catchweight of 143 pounds. The reason he's fighting at a catchweight is because he does want to move to 147 pounds, but he wants a chance at a rematch with Taylor and possibly face Jose Ramirez before he moves up in weight. You know, so we got to see if this fight would be possible next between these two, which I definitely think if Taylor doesn't face Ramirez, he's probably going to face Prograis, unless somebody like out of nowhere comes along and decides to want to fight like Vasily Lomachenko, since Taylor and Lomachenko are with top rank, you know, if Lomachenko would want to fight, but I doubt, excuse me, I doubt a fight like that would be possible. So I really think Taylor and Prograis could fight each other after Prograis done with Hooker and Taylor's done with his mandatory. So definitely a possibility. Hold on one second, guys. Number 4 is Jose Cepeda. Not seeing this one. Really wouldn't make any sense for him to face Cepeda. Cepeda wouldn't be a mandatory, and he's not a big name, so I don't think Taylor would fight Cepeda after his mandatory defense. Number 5 is a rematch with Victor Postol. Well, I mean, it's possible for the same aspect of the Ramirez fight. If Postol were to upset Jose Ramirez and they didn't have a rematch clause in the contract, you know, it's possible that him and Taylor, as long as he'd be willing to give up the WBO title, which maybe he would be, it's very possible him and Taylor could rematch, because the first fight was close. Or the judges didn't score it close, but everybody said that was a very close fight in Scotland. So maybe Postol could get him to come out of Scotland, fight in the United States on neutral turf, and these two guys could go at it. So definitely think that fight is a possibility if Postol upsets Ramirez. I don't think Postol is going to beat Ramirez, but I think he has a good chance, because Postol throws a lot of punches. He's a tall fighter, and he can box. So, you know, Ramirez, I don't think Ramirez is going to have an easy time with Victor Postol. So it is possible. I'm hoping for the less likely, and the only reason is because I really want Taylor and whoever the unified champion is between Jose Ramirez, Postol, whatever, I really want it to be for the one undisputed world title. So that's what I'm hoping for. Number 6, Robert Easter Jr. Not seeing it. This will be Matchroom and PBC, and Easter hasn't done much outside of beating Adrian Granados. I don't see this one. Number 7 is Maurice Hooker. Not seeing this one either. I honestly believe Hooker is done with 140. He's fighting most likely next in July against Regis Prograis at a catchweight of 143. I think win or lose, which I think he's going to lose, he's moving up to 147 after that. If he beats him, he'd ride the confidence of that win into 147, and if he loses, he's definitely going to 147. You know, he'll cite that the weight, and he believes that 147 is his next spot. So I don't see him and Taylor being possible. Number 8 is former champion Kior Relic. Not seeing this one. Relic hasn't fought since he got knocked out against Prograis last April. He's not a big name. It wouldn't make sense for Taylor to face him next. Number 9 is Pablo Cesar Cano. I'm not seeing this one either. This would be, I mean, Matchroom and Golden Boy, I mean, they could, because it's on DAZN. But would he want to face a guy like Cano? Maybe, you know, because Cano would be perceived as not an easy win, but, you know, a top 10 guy who's coming off a big win over Jorge Linares last year. You know, that would make somewhat sense to fight each other. So I could, you know, I think I wouldn't completely rule it out, but I don't think so. I don't think he's a big enough name for Taylor next. 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I don't think Taylor and him is possible next, because I think once Taylor's done with his mandatory, if he takes a fight in between while Ramirez or Postol fight the WBO mandatory Catterell, I really think they're going to want to face, you know, he's going to want to face somebody with a name. So I think he might face, that's why I think Prograis is possible. So I just don't see him in Cano. Now the 3-way tie for 10th. Start with contender Adrian Granados. I wouldn't completely rule it out, but it'd be Matchroom working with the PBC. And I don't think they're going to get together for this one, because, you know, Granados wouldn't make sense. He's a decent name, but he wouldn't make sense right now. Number also tied is Rances Barthelemy. Barthelemi's with the PBC. Not seeing this one. You know, he likes to play it safe. He's getting himself in line for maybe the WBA regular belt, but I don't see him facing Taylor, at least not next. And then finally is Ivan Barianchik, which would be a rematch from the World Boxing Super Series semifinal in May of last year, when Taylor soundly beat Barianchik. Barianchik had his moments. He's a tough guy. He kept coming forward. He landed some decent shots on Taylor, but Taylor, no argument that he pulled off a comfortable win in that one. and retained, you know, and captured the title from Barry. So not seeing that. So what do I think Josh Taylor is going to do next after? I really believe that it's possible him and Pro Gray go at it. Now, I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to play it safe after Pro Gray. You know, I wouldn't blame him. I mean, after his mandatory, play it safe so he could be ready for a showdown with Jose Ramirez, possibly. But I really think he wants big names, and I think he's confident that he believes he soundly beat Regis Pro Gray the first time they fought, so I don't think he'd be afraid in fighting him again. So that's my opinion. That's what I think he does. There aren't a lot of other, if he's going for a big name, there aren't a lot of other options, I think, that he would fight outside of Pro Gray, you know, unless he really wanted to just play it safe. Then I could see a Pablo Cesar Cano and, you know, maybe some other guys. But yeah, I really think he's going to want to go for a name. But I also do think that Bob Arum might pay a lot of money to Jack Catterall and Matchroom to allow the fight to go off for the undisputed title. Maybe step aside money to them, and then the undisputed fight goes off. So definitely think that's possible. So that's the what's next on Undefeated Unified Junior Welterweight Champion Josh Taylor, my #1 junior welterweight in the world. Hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.